This is the superposable Spider-Man from 1992. Now what's neat about this Spider-Man is he's got these metal pins for his articulation joints. And he just looks really cool all around, honestly. I especially like the face. If it would focus, you could definitely see. There you go. Definitely, oh, camera. You can definitely see his face. It looks really cool. It looks like the classic, Spider-Man face from the 80's comics to the early 90's comics. And he's got these metal pins all in his joints, like I mentioned. Nice little spider symbol right there, as well as the one on the back. Classic Spider-Man comic one. And then if you can tell, if it'll focus, you should be able to see that says copyright 1992 Marvel. So this Spider-Man is indeed from the early 90's. Now, how did I get this Spider-Man, you may ask? And how did I get it affordably? Well, I got it loose on eBay for a few bucks, really. Now let's go over his articulation. Okay, so the shoulder, or the whole arm, can rotate all the way up 360 degrees. Elbow crunch, wrist movement, same on both, as well as rotating all the way up. We got an ab crunch. Ab rotates all the way around, although I don't want to because it's just a rubber band holding that in. And this rubber band is 29 years old. Head rotates all around. Can bob from side to side. Sorta goes up and down, but not really. Legs can rotate all the way around. Knees can joint, as can the feet. No ankle pivot though, because this is from the early 90's. It wasn't that advanced. Same thing for the other leg. They can also go like this, but because of the hip joint, or the hip placement right there, it can't go all the way up. It goes to the side like that. And then, of course, the knee, the foot. And since this is loose, obviously it has been played with and all that, so it is, loose. Not extremely loose, but a little loose. And as well as a pelvis. Or no, sorry. Let's just call this the lower abdomen swivel. That's what we'll call it. The detail on this guy is pretty cool. It looks exactly like Spider-Man from the comics, I'd have to say. There's a little bit of paint bleeding right there. I would have to say that's a manufacturing fault. That is probably wear and tear, maybe? I don't know. I'm thinking colors and styles may vary has really affected this one. So yeah, I like both the spiders. I think that looks exactly like the one from the comics. That one, I'm not sure. It's been drawn in so many different ways over the decades, so it's hard to tell. I like the face. I definitely like all the webbing. I like the muscle detail. I like the fact that it's from 1992. Nothing on the bottom of the feet, except for, oh, that's weird. I didn't notice that. But because he's a little bit loose, here, hold on, let me get this camera a little bit higher. There, I just stacked it on one videotape. But because he's a little bit loose, he's kind of hard to put into poses. Let me see if I can just get him to stand up straight. I may have to put him on a videotape too to even him out with the camera, or we'll just have him like that. So that's him standing up straight. He does that fairly well. Let's see if we can get him into a better pose, kind of like a web shooting pose here. And see, he falls forward a little bit. I'm pointing at the camera, though. Maybe. Oh, okay, that's not exactly... I just want him to be looking at the camera. Okay, that's better. I like that. If he'll stand up, though, that'd be pretty cool. Come on, stand up. All right, that's better. So, I mean, he can do a pose like that. I'll just get a up and down view. He can stand up like that, but he's not able to do a whole bunch of poses like, say, you know, super poseable Spider-Man from 2002. He's not able to do that. You know, this is 10 years before that. And I'm actually going to make this a two-parter episode because I have another Spidey figure I'd like to show off that's from the 90s as well. So this is a superposable Spider-Man from 1994, and this is based off of... This is based off of... See, this one's really loose. But, I mean, he's still able to be posed a little bit. This one's based off of the animated series Spider-Man from 1994. And you can tell because in every single action figure adapted from the show, and even in the show itself, Spider-Man always has this square in the middle of his chest where his spider insignia is. And my guess as to why they did that is because it'd be easier to animate, easier to draw that spider on in every frame. That could be it. And this Spider-Man is really cool. He is a variant, though, which means that he is not the exact color that he's supposed to be in the show. And when I bought it, I read that it said variant, but I didn't care anyway because it was still cool to me. That's pretty weird, actually. That circle is bigger than the abdomen should be. But when you put them together, I guess it makes sense. I don't like that, though. That could either be a manufacturing issue or wear and tear. His eyes are pretty cool, though. They're nice and big. I don't know if they're that big in the show. It's been a couple of weeks since I've watched the show. So let's go over some articulation now. So he can rotate all the way around at the head, but it's kind of iffy. Because again, the Spider-Man is held together by rubber band. This is cool. He's able to do this. When you would ever need this is beyond me, but it's there. Nice stiff elbow joint. That's a good sign. Rotates all around this way. Of course, goes up and down. This arm's a bit stiff. That's good. That's good. Wrist goes up and down, but not side to side because of that pin. Same thing with this one right here. Again, same thing. And same thing. This one does not have a web shooting pose, which kind of stinks, but oh well. Chest crunch. Rotation. Lower abdomen swivel. The legs do this number, just like the last one. Knees bend, so do the feet. Legs can do this. Knees bend, so do the feet. And that's all the articulation he has. Now we'll go over the detail. Like I said, I like the eyes. The color of the Spider-Man is a nice bold red. The black that he is reminds me of the early 60s Spider-Man comics where he was often drawn in black rather than blue. The spider insignias are pretty cool. This one is a little bit wonky, but it doesn't really matter because when you crunch it together, it makes sense. That one is pretty accurate to the show. So is this number here. The webbing is really nice. And if you look on the bottom of his feet, I think... No, sorry, it's his... Is it his thigh? Yeah, it's his thigh. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's this thigh. Find it. Pretty sure you'd be able to see the copyright info. I'll turn this on. Maybe that'll help. Copyright 1994. Marvel. So this was made during the show's first season, I believe, since the Spider-Man animated series ran from 1994 to 1998, according to Wikipedia. And yeah, I mean, this one can do poses. It's a little bit better to pose this one versus the one from 92. But it has the same kind of general posing abilities because it's the same kind of figure. Although this one is a little bit harder to pose because he's a bit looser. That's what happens when you buy old figures that people have played with, and that, even if I'm just collecting them, he can do a pose like this, you know, and that's basic enough. A web shooting pose from this guy would be pretty cool, but because he doesn't have any web shooting pose hands on him, that's tough. I mean, he can be in a pose like, alright, let's go, I'm gonna fight you. So that's pretty cool. So that's this video on these two Spider-Man figures. As you can see, the one from 92 is a bit shorter than the one from 94. And the one from 94 is a bit more muscular than the one from 92. So I don't know which one I like better, honestly. Both are pretty cool, but the one from 92 is just kick butt. I like that one, honestly. I have two more Spidey figures that I got. No, actually, sorry. I got one more Spidey figure that I got recently that I have to do a little video on, and I'll probably do that in the near future. But for now, I think that's it. Yeah, thank you for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you when I have another video out. So we'll see when that will be.